Well, like I was saying, I really love music. So I just kind of got into photography at concerts. I'm also a writer, so I'm a photojournalist, a music
And you're also in a band. So
and I'm in a band.
This is going to be a theme. You're going to hear and also. That's why I said you're a creative.
Let's take a drink to that.
Drink to that, yes.
Let's talk Tales.
My next guest on Tales with Taylor is a creative of many sorts. Since she could remember, she had a camera in her hands or was drawing pictures of various subjects. This passion drove her to start Gigshots. While her primary focus is capturing memorable pictures of live concerts, and she also offers spectacular photos for businesses, families, fashion models, and other events. It's Carmen Garza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Taylor. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Doing great. And I know your favorite cocktail is a Mai Tai.
Oh
so
my God, it sure is. Look how pretty that is.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So this is my first Mai Tai.
That's really good.
This is very good.
So I have to be very careful with it.
My first Mai Tai. That was very tasty.
Oh, it's really nice.
So tell me the tale that brought you to having that camera in your hands at first. Who got you your first camera? What was your first camera?
Wow. That, I have to go way back because I have literally been taking photos since I was in middle school. So 12, 13 years old. I'm going way back. Kodak little Instamatic camera.
Oh, when you had to scroll to get to the next?
Yes. It was before digital, way before digital. Digital wasn't even in the realm. And it was just one of those things, taking pictures of people I know, my family, our pets, and things like that. I didn't really venture out of the house too much, when I was little. And I just had so much fun doing it. Eventually, to answer your other question, my father basically, it was his camera, but I borrowed it. And then I just basically took it from there and became more of a creative person. I've always been drawing something. I used to draw stained glass art and then I color them with crayons, and then I didn't hang them up or anything, but till you can't see through paper. So, but I always drew something, and art class was always my favorite in school. And then eventually got into music at a very early age. My first album I got when I was 10 years old.
All right. What was the album?
Tommy soundtrack by The Who.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. And then, I have a rock and roll, that's my foundation, but I love all kinds of music. I love classical, EDM, blues, jazz, metal, you name it. So it's the right time and place for everything.
Definitely. Yeah. I know, just kind of still thinking about with the camera, I just remember that excitement when you would get the film developed.
Yeah.
Just that, because right now you could look at the picture, go, it's good, it's bad, let's change it. But something about that mystery. I truly hope I captured that the way I thought I did.
Yeah. I actually, not to change, it is kind of along the same lines of what you're talking about. I've actually professionally shot Alcatraz in San Francisco. Wow. And it was right before the digital age. I still have my professional Nikon camera, film camera. And I took my 4 or 5 rolls of film in to who I thought was a reputable place.
Oh no.
And I took some really great artistic shots of the building, inside out, all around the island there. And they messed up. The person who they had developing my film was a new person, and apparently not well trained. Yeah. And he exposed my film without, not in the dark room, but out in the light, and it ruined it. And all they could say is, "Sorry, he's new." And they gave me like a coupon for next time. I said, I'm not going to bring my business to you next time. I mean,
yeah, footage is precious. Footage is something that you can't actually recapture. You know, I know for us,
and I don't live close to San Francisco. It's not like they're going to pay for me to go back out there. I mean, no, I'm sure they wouldn't. So yeah, it was for a paid shoot. So I had to really scramble and I mean, I lost the client, but at least I still have my reputation. But yeah, so yeah, nowadays you don't have to worry about that. You know, you have that instant gratification. You know what the picture looks like right away, and if you don't like it, just take another one.
Right. Yeah. Take another one right then and there. Yeah. But oh gosh, that's just so heartbreaking because footage is one of those things that, you know, when we record video footage and we'll archive it for clients and ask, oh, do you want to renew your archiving? And, you know, when they say, no, I understand, maybe they want to save the $75, but I'm like, do you understand that when we press delete, there is no coming back?
You can't go back, no.
You can't come back and just, you know, redo this event or, you know, even just a shot, you know, even if it's a building, buildings change, lighting changes. And
absolutely. So, there's never that moment that's exactly the same, ever.
Oh man, yeah, that's amazing. What would be some of the tales of like your favorite photo shoots you've done or your favorite events you've been a part of?
Well, like I was saying, I really love music. So I like just kind of got into photography at concerts. I'm also a writer, so I'm a photojournalist, a music photojournalist.
And you're also in a band. So
and I'm in a band. This is going to be a theme.
You're going to hear and also. That's why I said you're a creative.
Let's take a drink to that.
Drink to that, yes.
Yeah, because everything's kind of tied in together. It's like, you know, all connected. And I believe you only live once. And life is worth living and learning and experiencing and sharing with people. And anyway, so it's just like, just learn all you can while you're here. We're not here very long. So, you know, so yeah, anyway, I started, first of all, I went to my first concert when I was 13.
Okay. What was that concert?
That was AC/DC.
Okay. That is a household favorite amongst my children. Love
your children.
My children.
Oh my God, that's
my
fun.
5-year-old.
That's great.
He loves AC/DC.
And has he listened to some of the old stuff too?
Oh yeah, everything. Like his playlist is the most eclectic playlist you've ever seen. From like his favorite bands, I would say if he had to pick his top two, I can only think of, it's AC/DC and Journey.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great, and they're very different.
Yeah, and those are his two favorites. All the time.
And he's only 5?
His walk-up song for baseball, though, is Love It Loud by Kiss.
I love it. I mean, he already has that exposure to music. Don't be surprised if he becomes a musician when he's old enough, but probably next year.
Right.
I want a guitar, Mom. So anyway, so AC/DC was my first concert. Fun. It was the For Those About to Rock tour.
All right.
Your son probably knows that album.
I know. Yes, he knows that song. I know the album of music, everything. Yes.
It was the second one with Brian Johnson as the singer. Anyway, I've loved music, as I said, and I've been to, believe it or not, about 770 concerts so far. That doesn't mean it's like all different.
Right. You've maybe seen the same
bands, but
which band have you seen the most of?
I'm not really sure, but if I had to guess, I'd say Muse.
Okay.
Because they're my favorite, and that's why I started. We'll talk about that as soon as we get there, but I want to answer your other question. That's why I started a Muse tribute band. That's the band that I'm in. So it started becoming really expensive to attend concerts. Yeah, I had to have a little nest egg just to be able to enjoy that. And I like music festivals. I've been to Coachella 14 years in a row. I actually had my wristband to go the 15th year in a row, and I got valley fever, so I couldn't go. I felt awful. I've never felt that bad physically in my whole life. Wow. And I hope I don't ever feel worse than that. But I couldn't go, and so I haven't been back since. That doesn't mean I'll never go back, but it's morphed into something different than than how I've enjoyed it as an EDM festival, primarily. I mean, then they have these side stages because there's 8 or 9 acts going on at the same time. So there's R&B here and there. They started trickling that in, and now it's an R&B festival with some EDM.
Interesting.
R&B, hip hop.
I would have never thought Coachella as an R&B.
Sorry, I don't mean to snarl, but no, it's not my thing. It's not my jam.
Right, yeah, no. I'm very similar with you where I like a lot of music. It's probably faster when we say things I don't like. I don't like R&B and I don't like most country.
I mean, I like some of it, but there could be festivals, and there are festivals that are primarily for that genre.
Right.
And I understand it's whatever the 20-something-year-olds are and, up to millennial age are like primarily listening to. And Glastonbury Festival out in England is one of the go-to festivals that all the other festivals around the world kind of gauge by, because whatever type of music they're displaying usually is what I think they've taken their cue from. At least that's what I notice. Okay. I could be totally wrong, but it seems like there's a lot of similarities there.
Interesting.
And it's one of the most popular festivals in the world, Glastonbury. So, and Coachella is here. So, anyway, I wanted to not only attend Coachella, I wanted to take photos professionally there. So what I did was I said, okay, I can't just say I want to shoot here. That's not how it works. So you have to you have to get approved, and there's a lot of red tape to do that. And they don't just want a photographer, although they have many photographers that shoot there. If you have another skill, that puts you a little bit, it makes you more desirable, for them to hire you, so to speak. So I said, well, I'm gonna write too, because I used to write poetry when I was a kid. My first poem was about my kitty who passed away a long time ago. And I won this little award for this National Poetry Association. I mean, I think they're like, oh, look at this little kid, and she entered this contest, but it's so touching. And they honored me with this certificate, and I'm like, wow, that's really nice. So I continued to write, and I also am a lyricist, so I write song lyrics. Maybe someday I'll do something with them, but I kind of tried during COVID. That's another story. But I won't even say. My mom always said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. So I will not say what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, now I'm definitely curious what you wanted to say.
I know. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So I basically, what I did was I thought, okay, I've got to be part of a magazine or website that is catered to music. And I thought, okay, Spin Magazine, there's Rolling Stone, there's all these, Billboard, there's all these other organizations in the US that are a lot harder to get into because it's saturated. They already have presence at Coachella and all these major festivals. So I thought about Europe. And I thought, let me do a search for European-based music websites. And I found a few. And I got great feedback from one that was based in Amsterdam. They were called 365mag.com. And they're still in existence, but the two editors are no longer there. They went off and they started their own magazine, who I ended up working for also. But anyway, so I was their correspondent, their US correspondent.
Right.
They didn't have one here until me.
Nice.
Yeah, that was cool. And they had a lot of visitors, subscribers, so to speak. So that is more enticing to the concert promoters like Golden Voice for Coachella. So it's not who you are, it's not what you know, it's how much marketing, free marketing can you give me? And that's how it works. So when you represent a magazine, even an online magazine like 365mag.com, it was actually a prestigious organization to be part of. And they approved me right away to be to get a media pass. So, but not only that, like I said, you know, the editor had asked me, well, you know, since you're there, can you write a story about what you experienced? And I said, can I write a story? Of course I can. I'd never done it before. I never had done a concert story, a review before. But I thought, well, how hard can it be? You know, just write about what you experienced, you know, in a professional manner. And I follow AP rules and everything, you know, the comma, you know, you gotta know how to use the comma.
Double space after the sentence.
Well, now they don't want you to do that.
Oh, now, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta freshen up on mine.
Well, it's not necessary anymore. Okay. I mean, when I learned in typing class, you double space, but it's
like
I learned
too. You know?
A lot of people haven't had typing class, so they're like, just single space is fine.
They're just growing up with, you know, tablets already anyways. So.
Exactly. They don't even know how to sign their name. So, but that's okay, kids. But anyway, so I ended up going to Coachella. I believe that was the year that the Icelandic volcano had erupted.
Oh, wow.
So there were some bands that couldn't make it because their flights were canceled or delayed from Europe and around the world. So that changed the lineup a little bit at the last minute. So I ended up, my headline, I always like to have a catchy headline.
As you should, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to make a person want to read your article? So I don't remember it verbatim, but it basically said the Icelandic Coachella competes with the Icelandic volcano. And, yeah. And so something like that. And it was fun. And so every time I went back, they had me go and cover the festival as a photojournalist. And then after 3 years with them, they wanted to go do something else, the two editors. So they left. And they said, hey, Carmen, we started this magazine called beatsandbeyond.com, and it's still in Amsterdam. And they said, would you like to be our U.S. correspondent? And I said, absolutely, I would love to. And so I was with them for another 6 years. And then they're still in like the music business, but they do more of like production and things like that. Yeah. Wow. I've never met them in person. I've never been to Amsterdam, or haven't yet, but they're really cool guys. And they said, anytime you want to come here, well, you've got tour guides.
Nice. Yeah. All right, you got to take them up on that.
That
would
sounds
love like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, go clubbing.
There you go, right? Yes.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So ever since then, I've taken photos and written the reviews of all kinds of bands and musicians and DJs. I mean, just to name several, would be B.B. King, Rick Springfield, Lady Gaga, Muse.
I bet that felt amazing to do Muse, since you love them as a band. You know, did that feel like just such an accomplishment to be like, yes, I'm getting paid to take photos of someone I love?
I'm glad you asked me that, because that was the pinnacle of my, I guess, the major zenith moment, euphoric moment of solidifying this is what I'm meant to do in this world. When I took photos of Muse for the first time was at Coachella.
Okay.
And I'm in the pit with like 50 photographers, and there's probably 2 women. I mean, maybe, and that doesn't matter, but I noticed that. Yeah. And, we're clicking, we're hitting, lenses. I'm like, don't touch my lens. Oh, wow, I mean, you can bump into me all day long, but don't mess with my equipment. Anyway, so I basically was, I'm there. We were shoulder to shoulder in there, and it was two rows deep. And I just found a place. I stayed there until the band came out. You could shoot only the first 3 songs with no flash. That's a international rule. You just don't use your flash, and usually it's the first 3 songs. So I'm there, and I'm all excited. I mean, there's the crowd's going crazy.
You can't use the flash. I never knew that.
No.
Is it just scare of people with?
It interferes with them.
Okay.
With the
performances, that's what I was wondering. Maybe the flashes got distracting, or if they were afraid of any kind of, and it also, seizures or anything. Or
I don't know about this. I don't think the seizures. It's more of it's distracting to them, and it's also it changes the way the photo looks.
Yeah, that's true.
It really does. You don't get the lighting. You don't get the movement. I mean, you get white.
right. You're not getting the ambient light that they're projecting onto the stage.
Right. But it does make it more challenging, especially, for people that choose to shoot in manual mode, which I do. Because I'm just raw and uncensored. I'm like, yes. Oh, okay. Got to change the...
Right, you gotta change the aperture a little bit.
And rock and roll is fast. Yeah. It's just fast moving. And
especially with the lighting going with the beats and stuff, like your lighting is changing all the time.
And when I shot Corn, and I know it's another story, when I shot Corn, that was like, it was with the strobe light going, and Jonathan Davis' hair and his dreadlocks were just flying everywhere. And it's like, literally, it was fast. And I just kept shooting, hoping something was going to be in focus. And it's one of my favorite photos I've ever taken so far at a concert. But to go back to Muse, that first time, I shot those. So there's, there's the mics that are standing on the stage. And of course, we know where the drummer is going to be. They come out. Matt Bellamy's right there, right in front of me. He's not the founder, the drummer is. Matt Bellamy, the lead singer / piano player / guitar maestro, is right there, like literally. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like a kid. Oh my God, there's Matt Bellamy. No, I didn't say it like that. I mean, that's kind of weird, but no.
Right, I know.
I was just so excited.
Internally,
oh my God.
it's going that way, but externally, you're like, hey, be professional.
Oh, I might have screamed a little, but I wasn't like, oh my God, there's Matt Bellamy. But I thought that. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got it ready, and I got a bunch of great shots of him, luckily. And I mean, right there, him and his space, they're into space and all that, sci-fi thing. He had like these glasses with the lines in it. And now I know what this is called on his hand, or his custom made guitar by Manson. He always goes to Manson to have these made. He's got this pad on his electric guitar, and it's called a Chaos pad.
Chaos pad.
Yeah, and it's all electronic. He doesn't use foot pedals or
Does it make it so it changes the sound and things like that?
It's programmed. It's all computerized. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty swanky.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he uses that, but at the time I had no idea what it was. I just thought, wow, that's kind of out of this world.
Yeah.
But I'm right there, right where he is, and I got all these great shots. 3 songs were over. My friend was there with me, so I mean, not in the pit, but he was waiting for me back in the crowd. So I went, met up with him, and I'm just like, of course, I'm enjoying the rest of the show. And then I didn't start bawling, but I started, tears started streaming down my face. And I'm like, oh my God. He goes, Carmen, what's wrong? I'm like, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm just like, this is exactly what I'm meant to do. And that was that moment. Yeah. That aha moment. It's like, there's nothing better for me.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, defining your own success, and that was, being successful for you. So that's excellent.
Yeah, it was a great moment. I've had some similar moments since then because I just get into everything. It's my passion. But that one moment, that was that defining moment where I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
Everybody should feel that way about what they do. I know not everybody does. That's unfortunate, but...
Well, they should definitely take a look at what can they do to change it, though, because the life is short. Like I said, we only have one life to live, at least one that we remember. And so, you might as well make it, worth your while and having a good time during the journey.
I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
And so, how long after that shoot did you say, hey, it'd be really fun having a band?
Well, can I take a drink? Awesome.
Prepare yourself for this story, yeah?
Yeah. Well, just pretty much ever since Pat Benatar was Pat Benatar, the singer, whatever. No, I can't sing like her, and that's fine. She's awesome. I have a totally different register than that. I wanted to be like her.
Okay.
I wanted to be a front person in a band, in a rock band.
Yeah.
Not just any band.
Not just any band.
No. And I thought, one of those dreams, And so when I moved here and I just got into the music scene, the local music scene, I met a lot of musicians and I know a lot of them. I've been here for 26 years. It's been a while. I started taking their photos and then interviewing them and doing some of their reviews, and then people just know each other. And then it kind of infiltrated to like Southern California because, people come from there, go back, or they know people there. So I know people out there too, not as many. I still do that.
Yeah.
I still have that to offer, and it's still part of my passion. But I thought, now might be the time. It was last year. Now might be the time to think about being in a band like that, And I actually contacted a friend of mine. He was a drummer, and I contacted him for a side business I was doing. And it turns out he wasn't interested, and that's fine. And then I just asked him, because I had taken his photos years ago when he was in another band. And I said, hey, are you in a band right now? What are you doing? What are you doing musically? He said, oh, I want to put together another cover band, but I need a singer. And I said, you do?
Wow.
And I thought, And I love all kinds of music. Rock is my favorite. But I thought, okay, I'm a singer. I'm like a soprano, I have a deeper voice. So I said, can I audition for the part? And he's like, absolutely. And then we ended up starting a band.
Nice.
A cover band we named it Broken Halo. Well, first it was called Red after his name, REDD. And it was more like a metal. Actually, he already had his guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back further. So he had his guys, his bass player and the guitar player. And then they needed a singer.
A singer.
Yeah. So I started, practicing with them and everything. And then I kind of had a setback. My Romeo, my kitty, he was getting sick. And I had to take care of him, obviously. And so a lot of my attention was on him. And that was right when we were trying to get started. I needed a little break from practicing and all that. And I honestly, I can't sing everything. Nobody can.
No, yeah.
You have to learn what your range is. I know what it is now, but I have such interest in all kinds of music that I wanted to sing everything they asked me to. I said, but I'd never made any promises. I'll try it. I can't promise I can pull it off.
Right.
And I wasn't able to pull everything off, but that just goes with the business. There is no one singer who can sing everything. Right. Anyway, so it just didn't go anywhere. We tried, the two guys left, and it was me and the drummer for about almost a year. I think about a year. And we just went through a lot of people. It for various reasons, and they were great musicians, just wasn't the right fit.
And I think it's tough too as adults where we have bills to pay. Some of us have obligations, like loved ones, whether it be a fur baby, a skin baby, whatever baby, there's just obligations to take care of sometimes that I think as adults, it's sometimes harder. I had a colleague ask if, I'd be at all interested in like joining an adult baseball team. And I'm like, man, that does sound fun. And then I'm like, what are the commitments? What are your, the schedules? Like, oh, well, sometimes we go to Flagstaff for a game. I'm like, oh, no. I can't do that.
I mean, you're at a different place,
yes.
and you have your priorities in line. But
I got fur and skin. You can
always do it later.
That's true.
Yeah, you can always do it later. But so anyway, so that I gave it about a year, and I was like, no offense to anybody, I was just ready for a little bit of a break, and I took like a month or two. Just I didn't do anything like that musically. And then I thought, gosh, I've always I toyed in my mind, I want to do a Muse tribute band, but I'm like, I know it's a tall order. I do. But I thought, man, if we could pull it off, that would be awesome. And then I started this band.
Nice.
And I named the song, or the band, after my favorite song of theirs in concert. Is called Hysteria, the Muse Tribute Explosion.
Okay,
so
nice.
I know it's kind of like a lot of words, but yeah, I named it that. I had a logo design. I did the sketch of it. I'm not a graphic designer, so I didn't actually do the design, but implement it. But someone put it together for me with
your handwritten design, at least.
Right,
adding it back to your talents again of being able to draw. That's
Thank
excellent.
you. And then I'm full of ideas.
Yes.
Full of ideas. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle to find the right guitar player because their music is guitar driven and keyboards, but we're this close. We're this close. We just got a keyboardist 2 days ago.
Okay.
So I've had our amazing drummer from the beginning. He has a gold record. He fell out of the sky. I always say that. Wow. He's, just fell out of the sky for us. And then an amazing bass player who can play anything. I mean, he actually can play multiple instruments. Like, hey, all this struggles with.
I know someone who's a bass player. If you want to push them to guitar, just saying.
I know thank you, but hopefully I don't have to replace him. He's amazing. But yeah, he likes to play the bass and he's great at it.
Yeah.
And then we had a keyboardist in the beginning, so it was 4 of us. And then he's more of a jazz keyboardist. He's great, but this really wasn't his thing, and I know he did it. We're friends. I know he wanted to check it out, and he did, and it just turned out it wasn't his thing, and that's okay. So keyboardists are really hard to find. Good keyboardists are really hard to find. There's a lot more guitar players, but still, it has to be the right guitar player.
And it has to be the right fit. This is a team structure where egos can be a problem, personalities can be a problem. And so, it's kind of finding that right team member blend.
Plus you have to have somebody who's going to be committed. A tribute band does take a little bit longer to take off the ground, but and I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not going to do it for free either, but it's because it is my passion. It is, that's number one. And I look for people they don't have to be as crazy about Muse as I am. They should like Muse because that's what we're playing. Yes, I'd like to have people around that want to be, that are ambitious, committed. And it's a choice to be in the band or not, right? So all I ask for is communication and honesty. And just do the best job you can. None of us are Muse. I'm not Matt Bellamy. I don't look like Matt Bellamy. I don't smell like Matt Bellamy. No, I actually don't know how he smells.
I was about to say, you're very close to him. Did you walk?
No, I don't. If I smell like sweat, then maybe I do smell like Matt Bellamy. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, you know what I mean. It's like, we are a tribute band. We are trying to be as close as possible to the real thing. Obviously, Muse is a 3-piece band. We have 5. Hopefully we'll have our 5th member on Thursday in a week and a half, or 13 days from now, when he auditions for us. He's excited about it. Like everyone is when we first, start talking about it and everything. And I know who he is. He actually auditioned for the other band I was in.
Okay.
Yeah. My brother-in-law used to play with him. My brother-in-law's in a band as well. But I've not heard him play Muse. I'm sure he can pull it off. Yeah, he knows his stuff. So I'm just, like I said, we're like this close to getting our final member, and then learning all the songs we need to know. And then starting to get our demo reel together.
For the gigs, are you looking to open for bands? Are you looking to, go to coffee shops for a night and feel like, what are some of your goals with the band?
I have a lot of connections with, being a concert music photojournalist or, whatnot. So what my plans is to play at casinos, private parties, corporate events, holiday parties. I used to be a DJ, So
add that to the list.
So going and I haven't contacted them yet because we're not ready yet, but I plan on contacting the entertainment company that I used to work for.
Excellent.
That does hire bands at times.
Excellent.
And other entertainment companies that I don't know yet. And festivals, doing festivals as well. I mean, I haven't thought about Coachella, but just more of a local kind of festival.
Which luckily we do have a lot of things around here.
We do during this time of year.
Yeah.
It's the best time to go out.
Yeah, Arizona definitely, there's plenty of events. It's one of the reasons why I personally love being here in Arizona too, is just for kids too. There's just so much stuff that's going on all the time. Back east in Maryland where I grew up, it was just, there wasn't really much happening.
Well, you have a season where you can enjoy outdoor things.
Yeah, kind of. The summertime was so humid and gross and wet and rainy, and so not so much. Go over to Ocean City. Go to the beach. That's what you would do in the summer. Go to the beach, which I know you too love the beach.
I do. I love the beach. Oh my God, who doesn't?
Probably people who burn. My brother does not like the beach. My brother Colin, no, he is a Irish boy who
alabaster skin.
Yes, he does not like.
I know it's dangerous for people that are fair skinned. I understand. And some beaches are for anyone that even has some pigmentation. It's still, you have to be careful. Wear that sunscreen. Wear that sunscreen, people.
Wear the sunscreen, yes. It's worth it. Yes.
Totally. You'll thank yourself later.
So I know in addition to the concerts, you also will do photography for corporate, photography for families and pets. And, I'm kind of guessing I have an idea of your favorite, but what are your favorite shoots?
Well, my favorite shoots are concerts, music related. So bands, if they need a promo done for a CD that they're working on, flyers.
You always need good album art.
Their websites, there's a lot of changeover in bands sometimes. And I mean, it can become an expensive thing to do, to always switch out and make everything current on your website. It's not necessary, because what matters is you can have somebody take photos at your gigs and then put them on your social media page.
Right.
That's a little bit less expensive. I mean, if you want to be professional, hire a photographer to do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can take a photo, but can anybody take a professional photo?
Yes.
No, unless you're trained. I went to school to do that. And I have my professional gear to do that. So that would be my favorite subject matter.
Do you find that you are getting some, not necessarily competition, but some people are like, oh, I can do it by phone. Do you find any of that kind of pushback?
Every day. Every day. Everyone with a cell phone, a smartphone, thinks they're a photographer.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That doesn't mean they can't take photos. I have pots and pans at home. I'm not a chef.
Right.
Okay?
That's a great thing.
I can cook, but I'm not a chef.
And I think we are kind of almost tricked by the marketing of these phones. They'll show, oh, look, this movie was made using this phone. Well, they didn't tell you that they're using a 500, rig with it, $500 rig with it. They weren't, they don't tell you all those other things. Oh, sure, maybe it was captured on the iPhone 14, maybe. And I think with the filters too, so many people are just like, oh, just add a filter. There you go. It's edited.
Download the app.
Yes.
There's an app for that.
But then you download the photo from, the phone. It's only 72 DPI. And that's another thing. Then you go to try to print it and you can't. And so it's, sometimes those behind the scene details. But they don't know
any different because they're not from that world. They're from the other, every day. And that's fine. I mean, that's fine for people to want to be, or that are interested in that. But yes, I do run into people that say, I'm just going to hire my nephew or... weddings. Somebody came to me, a friend of mine years and years ago, had asked me how much I charge to shoot a wedding. And now I don't really do weddings. I've done some and it's just not my thing.
Likewise. Well, actually, we haven't even done weddings. I've always said no and referred it out to someone else. For me though too, having kids, I like my Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays.
There you go.
And that's when weddings are.
Yeah, totally.
And so it'd be like, wedding, or family.
Totally. And I mean, it's that very, very rare moment where somebody has a weekly, or like during the week wedding. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you get those Thursdays. Rare. Those Thursdays when people want to have a little extra savings.
And you probably do save a lot more money that way, but yeah. But anyway, no, so I shot a few weddings for friends of mine, and they paid me for it, that kind of thing, but it wasn't my thing. Mm-hmm. And I can totally appreciate someone that can just go out there and just do weddings, because somebody has to. But one of the ones that I was asked to quote by a good friend of mine, I gave them my price. And I mean, I know what others charge. And I know I was lower. My price was lower.
Especially a wedding. Like a wedding's, those price points, I think they just put an extra zero because they're like, oh, W wedding, a little extra zero on the end there.
The most important day of your life.
Right. You've been dreaming about this since you were 5.
Right. But this so happened to not be their first wedding. Okay. So there's sometimes I'm not saying it wasn't important, but it's not as I don't think it's as much validity as your first wedding.
I agree. There can't be. I don't think there could be.
Although I've not been married, I can't say that.
But you would know for a fact that this isn't infinite if you've already gotten a divorce.
Maybe not as, you don't need to spend that kind of money again.
Yeah. You don't need to spend that kind of money, period. That is the most important.
That isn't the most important thing, I guess, when you on your second or third marriage.
Yeah, I think
there's other things that they want to spend money on.
Little asterisks, I guess, with our wedding price, because we did use $10,000 towards the down payment of the house where we had the wedding in the backyard. So we still own the venue.
That's cool, though. No, it's because it's yours. Yeah. It's all yours.
Yeah. So, the speakers and lighting we put in the backyard, we bought it and we still own it.
I love that. No, that's great. Yeah. So I quoted it, and, I thought, okay, well, great. I'm going to make this exception and even quote it, because I wasn't interested in doing the wedding, but I had worked for a dating service as a photographer, and that's how I met them. They were both from the service. They met each other.
That's cute.
I actually introduced them. It's not because of me they found love, but I thought they'd be a great fit. So they fell in love. Right away. And they wanted to get married, and they wanted to get a photographer, and they asked me because they're like, you're so important to us because we met because of you. We may have met later, on our own, but you helped speed
You're instrumental in the
yeah. So I quoted it, and then turns out he hired a relative or somebody that was in school and wasn't going to charge them anything. And I said, well, think about this. You want to look back at your photos years and years from now and say, you don't want to say, I should have hired a professional. Right. You don't want to say that, because there's never going to be another time to do it over. But they hired this person. And so, to answer that long answer there, I run into that still to this day. I don't even quote weddings now, but other projects, and it's like, okay, I mean, you get what you pay for, and there's still good photographers out there. I'm not the only one, I mean, I'm good at what I do. I'm not good at everything.
And with photography, I find that there's definitely styles. Like, it's definitely one of those artistic mediums where people have a style. Maybe they have a style of being very you know what I mean? Everything's at a bit of an angle. Nothing's straight on. I've seen people with those styles. Color correction. Definitely. Lots of styles when it comes to color correction. And
filters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And that's what makes the world go round. All art is different. All photography should be different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I love what I do. It wakes me up every day.
Well, you have such a beautiful smile. You can definitely tell. I can feel the happiness and joy every time.
Thank you.
Excellent. And what's one of your favorite tales you've ever read or watched or heard? So it could even be a song that has just touched you so much. It could be a book that you've read or listened to. It could be a movie. What's a story that either just entertained you, inspired you, educated you?
I've read a lot in my life. I'm very well read. I used to love British literature, world literature. I actually took that as an elective at Purdue University when I went there for a computer programming degree. Decided to become an artist.
Right, wow, computer programming.
Yeah.
It's like, I think the most stale, like creative as it is, just, 0, 1, 0, 1.
Yep, binary numbers. I used to create programs all the time. And I was like, I just couldn't see myself doing it. It was fun. It was somewhat complicated, but it was fun. And I just couldn't imagine doing it for the rest of my life. So that's why I stopped going to Purdue. But I actually took a world literature class as an elective because I love to read.
Nice.
I read a lot of great books, but I'm actually going to mention a book that I've written that has inspired me.
Okay, so whoa.
It's called Romeo's Garden, and it's based on pet loss, and it's a children's book, and it's to help parents with their children and their grief, and also the parents' grief. It's not. It's mainly, it's going to be a little cartoony, but it has a lot of words in it, more than like an average children's book. Right. So it's meant for a parent to read too. With their children.
Romeo's Garden. I love that. Oh, is it just on the other side of the rainbow? Perhaps the garden?
There's no rainbow mentioned. Okay. Because I'm not going to take from somebody else and his,
It just feels like that's such a common phrase now.
No, it is. It is. That was from a poem. Yeah. Yeah. I hope it helps people. Yeah. It's definitely helped me get through the roughest time of his loss. But I want it to help others, and I want him to live forever.
Yeah. And won't he? That's definitely a beautiful, creative way to use your, artistic drawing talents, your writing talents. I'm sure you could do some of your photography talents of some of the photos you had of him, all incorporated into one beautiful masterpiece. That is beautiful. And, I normally ask, since it's Tales with Taylor, I always ask, what's your favorite animal with a tail? I think we already very well know the answer there. Yeah, it's not just any cat; it's Romeo.
My Romeo, absolutely. Yeah,
I actually, in dedication, wore my.
Oh my goodness, those are so cute.
That is my late Devious. Aww. That when we were talking,
you told me about.
So that is my late Devious, and this is Xena. She's still sticking around. So.
Oh, good. Those
Devious,
are so cute.
I know, right? I love these socks so much. I feel like I wore them so much when Devious had passed, just because I wanted to just keep being like, hey, buddy.
I like that name.
Yeah. Oh, he lived up to that name like none other. Sure. Naming him Devious made me learn I need to be careful what to name any future cat. So when he passed, it was about a couple of weeks late. It really affected the kids because he was the family cat. Although we still have Xena.
I wish Romeo's Garden was around then.
I know.
Maybe that would have helped them.
That might have helped. I have a feeling. So Layla was so young when it happened. Dash is going to be her first heartbreak whenever that happens. He's very young, but I know for a fact that will be her first heartbreak. So I will need that book when that time comes.
How old is your cat right now?
So he's brand new.
Oh,
we got him at 3 months old, about 3 weeks after Devious passed. I wasn't quite ready yet, but the kids, the way that they would try to sneak up on Xena and be like, please let me pet you. And then Xena would run away. Yeah. Xena's my cat. She sits on my lap. She loves on me. She doesn't let anyone else go to her.
I understand.
But it was really affecting the kids of like, I want to pet this. I want a cat again. They missed that.
Right.
Layla, one of her first words are kitty, and so it's just like, And so we got Dash. And
I like that name too.
He's dashingly handsome and as fast as a dash. He is a super fast cat.
Lives up to his name.
He truly does. So I let the kids, I let James name him. And so it's been great. And he's definitely a fit.
So they're young kitties.
They're young. So he's 5 and 2. And that's where, James was aware at 5 years old.
Sure.
A little aware. When I came home and Devious wasn't home, he thought he was like, oh, can we go to the hospital and visit him? I saw on a show when someone was sick, they were able to go to the hospital and visit them.
Oh.
And it was so hard to be like, no, when I told you to say goodbye, that was goodbye. And so that was really, really hard. So I would be very interested in Romeo's Garden because Layla was
Aw.
Not even... So 1.5 maybe. So Layla's 1.5. So she, didn't really fully comprehend.
Young. But once she turns 2,
Well, now every morning it's, where's Dashi? Dashi. And then every time she comes home from her Montessori school, it's Dashi and just loving on Dash. And just,
that's so sweet.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I know from my experience, I lost, one of my kitties when I was in 5th grade, and that was traumatic. And my parents didn't have those tools. And so I could see Romeo's Garden being, really important, because that is, I think, for a lot of people, their first loss is losing a pet. And for some people, I was born in upstate New York, and I'm 5 years younger than my closest sibling. So my cats were kind of my best friends.
I get it. I used to adopt the strays in our neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we always had a dog in the family, but I was the one with the cat.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I've experienced the loss there too at a young age. Not quite as young as your kids, but early teens. Yeah. Yeah. And it was still traumatic.
So traumatic. Yeah. Something that you
never forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be really good to have Romeo's Garden.
I'm excited about it. It took me a year to complete the writing. I wanted to make sure I was done. Plus I'm still grieving in a different way, but it's been a little over a year. But, that first year was just tough. It was the toughest thing. Plus I had just lost my dad and then my mom before that, and my best friend of 32 years, like within months of Romeo passing. And he was like my rock. And he would come over, sleep on the couch, because I didn't want to be alone. Romeo died in my place, at my home. And it was haunting to be there alone. The walls just came in. And that's an awful feeling. Yeah. I mean, not just the loss. It was just like that anxiety. Yeah. It's just feeling alone.
The quiet, as someone who had got a cat for herself as my graduation gift from high school, I have had cats. So that was and then when she passed, that was traumatic for me, because I think it was almost like, am I getting old? You know what I mean? Because it's like, I got her when I graduated high school, and she got cancer, unfortunately.
I know. That's awful.
I came home from my honeymoon and she was limping. I asked the house sitter, did Devious in her fight or something and hurt her leg, and ended up being cancer. So it's just so tough.
And you don't want your pet to suffer, because that is just heart-wrenching. Yeah. But I'm still working on the illustrations. So I don't know. I want to have them done by another year. I mean, I'm going to give myself another year to do that. And then I need to figure out how to get it published. So,
well, I have people I can connect you with that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's definitely,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So hopefully by the time this airs, though, you're actually going to already have the book launched, but we'll have to actually have you come back on, I think, once you have the physical book.
Oh, great.
So we could promote just the book and show the book and things of that sort.
Oh, that would be wonderful, Taylor. I'd love that.
I love it. Yay. Well, we only have connected a few times, but I just feel like, you have such a great spirit, such a great energy.
You too.
And so I just feel like there's just a lot of synergy between us, and I just want to support good people.
Oh, awesome. And I'm so honored to be here. I just really, I really am. I hope it all works out. I know I like to move around a lot.
Everything is going great. So to end, as we kind of wrap things up, I would love to know if there was any tale you would have told your younger self, what would that tale have been?
Wow. Always stay true to yourself. And if you can dream it, do it. I know it's trite, but it's true. It don't lose focus. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. I won't mention any names.
And if they do tell
I still love them.
Write that name down. And I know a lot of athletes do that. They'll go, it's like football athletes. If they're picked in the second round, they're just going to remember you think I'm just a second round pick? And they can stick with that. So sometimes you can almost use it as motivation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You said I couldn't do it.
You're right.
I'm going to prove you wrong. I know I'm definitely a mentality like that. So it's kind of like a little competitive edge. You don't think I can? All right.
Yeah.
Which just made me want me to do it more now.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Can also backfire on some things, but you know.
I've actually come from that too. I'm a rebel. Yeah.
It's the rock and roll, you know.
I'm a rebel, but I not as so much as I used to be, but I'm a rebel where, you know, it's like, don't tell me I can't do something because I will prove you wrong. Yeah. But instead of that, now I've gotten to a place in my life where I want to take more of a positive spin on that and say like, don't listen to that. No, it's just noise. Yeah. It's noise. And just stay focused, stay true to your heart. The universe, God has given you, every one of us, talents. It's up to us to utilize those and for the good. And if you could touch even one person, you've done your job. I like to be able to help more than one, but I'm happy with helping one person.
And the thing is too, you don't even necessarily know. Yeah, like you're going to publish this book and you're not going to know the thousands of people you're going to impact necessarily, or even just with your music or with, you know, the photography. Maybe you gave the photo one client, but you don't know how many other people were inspired by that picture or awed by that picture, because inside that photo is someone's child. And that mother can look at it proud, you know, someone's sibling that they could be like, man, look at what they're doing. So you are impacting multiple people.
Giving hope to somebody that needs it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, find your creative side or multiple creative sides and have fun doing it. Life is short and you should enjoy it.
Absolutely. Amen.
Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.